We've already written one version of a Mad Libs generator, but there are a couple parts that could be improved. Namely, we wanted to be able to not only replace noun and verb, but any other substitute that we wanted, like adjective, person, or name. Now, just like the last Mad Libs generator you wrote, there are many ways that you can build this, and I encourage you to try and implement your own way. But I'll show you the way that I approach this problem, which will use for loops and lists. Let's say we have this string madlib1, which is equal to iConverb around place. In this string, the words we want to replace with user input are verb and place. However, what if we have this other sentence, madlib2, which is equal to name is what they call plural noun. Since we want our function to be able to handle replacements, like place, name, plural noun, and other words we may add in the future, why don't we create a list of words, which I'll call parts of speech, and set it equal to a working list of possible replacement words, like so. Since the words I know I want to replace so far are verb, place, name, and noun, in this example I'll set my parts of speech equal to a list of those strings. Now that we have a list of words we want to replace, how do we use it to create a Mad Libs generator that will replace those words with user input? I said that the string.split function would come in handy, and this is where we'll use it. If we split the string madlib on the blank space, we'll now have each word in a list element. We'll also create this empty list, replaced, which you'll see how it will be used in just a second. Now that we have our three lists set up, parts of speech, the split madlib, and replaced, let's go over how we'll solve this problem. The general idea is to iterate through madlib, check if the current iteration or word we're on contains a part of speech, and if it does, we'll prompt the user to enter the replacement word for that part of speech, and then add that user inputted word to the list replaced. If the word isn't in parts of speech, we'll simply add the word we're looking at to replace instead. So let's run through an example using the split madlib1. So the first thing I look at is this string I. Is this in parts of speech? No, it's not, so I'll add it to replaced. Next, I look at can. Is this in parts of speech? It isn't, so I'll add it to replaced. Now I look at verb. Is this in parts of speech? It is. So I'll prompt the user to give me a verb, and let's say I put in jump. I'll now add that to replaced. Since around isn't in parts of speech, I'll now add that to replaced. And now we're at place. Now this is where things get a bit interesting. Now notice that there is this period at the end of place. Since we want to keep all punctuation, we're going to have to make our approach a little bit more robust. We'll first need to check that the string place is in the string place with a period, rather than just comparing the two words for equality. Now, we'll need to replace just the word place with the user input, so we keep the period, and then add the replacement word with the period to the list replaced. So let's say I put in Italy for place. Replaced will now have Italy with the period at the end of it, as the last element of the list. And there we go. Now we have a list with replacement words. The only thing we need to do now is change this list back into a string. We already know how to convert strings to lists by using the split function. Now I'll show you just one more function that's the reverse of that, join. As you can see, what we'll be joining on and the string to join are in opposite positions of the split function, but no need to worry. If we join on replaced like this, our output will be a string that's equal to I can jump around Italy. Now, the real beauty of this approach is that we can add any words that we want to replace to our parts of speech list, and our generator will work just the same. Now that we've gone over the general solution we want to implement, it's time to write some code.